April 14th, 1945. The war in Europe has 3 weeks left. Off the coast of Scotland, a brand new German U-boat, U-1206, is on its very first combat patrol cruising 200 feet below the surface. It will be destroyed today, not by a destroyer, not by depth charges, not by aircraft, by its own toilet. This is the true story of the most catastrophic bathroom break of the 20th century. And I promise you, every detail makes it better, including and especially the captain's name. This is Oops History, true stories that sound fake. Today, the flush that sank U-1206. First, the engineering problem, because this disaster starts with a genuinely hard question. How do you flush a toilet on a submarine? On the surface, easy, but deep underwater, the ocean pushes back at crushing pressure. If you just open a valve 200 feet down, the sea does not accept your offering. The sea returns it, with interest, at fire hose velocity. So for most of the war, German subs had toilets that only worked near the surface. At depth, the crew used buckets, cans, and heroic patience. On a boat with 50 men packed in with diesel fumes and one shared destiny, the sanitation situation was, and I'm quoting the general historical consensus, bad. Enter German engineering. For the newest boats, including U-1206, the Navy rolled out a technological marvel, the deep-water high-pressure toilet, a system that could flush against the ocean itself using a sequence of chambers and valves, an airlock for the unmentionable. It let the crew use the bathroom at combat depth. On paper, a triumph, morale-boosting, dignity-restoring. In practice, the system was so complicated that flushing required a trained specialist. I am not exaggerating. The procedure involved operating multiple valves in a precise sequence, routing the payload through a pressurized chamber, and blasting it seaward with compressed air. Get the order right, and the ocean receives your message. Get it wrong, and the ocean sends one back. Crews received instruction on the system. There was, functionally, a toilet certification. Now the boat, U-1206, state-of-the-art, on patrol out of Norway, hunting British shipping near Aberdeen, Scotland. In command, a 27-year-old captain on his first war patrol, and this is his real, documented historical name, Karl Adolf Schlitt. The captain of the submarine sunk by a toilet was named Schlitt. I want you to know that I am a professional. This channel has standards, and also that history handed me this, and I will not apologize for reporting the facts. So April 14th, somewhere around 200 feet down, someone visits the marvel of German sanitation engineering. Who exactly is disputed? The popular version says it was Captain Schlitt himself. Schlitt, in his own account, said he was in the engine room and that a mechanic trying to help with the toilet turned the wrong valve. Every man on that boat had an excellent reason to point at someone else. So history politely records mistakes were made at the toilet by persons. What's certain is that the valve sequence went wrong and the North Atlantic came aboard through the commode. High-pressure seawater blasting into the hull. Not a leak, a geyser. The compartment flooded fast, and the water did what water on a submarine always does. It went looking for the worst possible thing to touch. It found it. Directly beneath that compartment sat the boat's batteries. Seawater plus battery acid produces chlorine gas, poison gas, spreading through a sealed metal tube full of humans. In minutes, U-1206 went from embarrassing plumbing incident to chemical weapon deploying inside our own boat. Schlitt had one option, emergency surface immediately to vent the gas, and he had to do it within sight of the Scottish coast, in daylight, in 1945, when the entire coastline was crawling with Allied air patrols. The sub that was built to hide popped up like a cork in the enemy's front yard. British aircraft spotted them almost instantly and attacked. It was over. Schlitt ordered the crew off and scuttled the boat, opened her up and sent her to the bottom himself, rather than let her be captured. 3 men drowned in the escape. 1 was killed in the air attack. 46 survivors were captured and spent the last 3 weeks of the war as prisoners, each of them knowing and having to live with knowing exactly how their war ended. 3 weeks later, Germany surrendered. U-1206 holds a unique place in naval history, very likely the only warship ever lost to its own toilet. Somewhere in Valhalla, there is a memorial and nobody makes eye contact with it. Now, in fairness to German engineering, the deep water toilet worked. The design wasn't wrong, the interface was. It's a masterclass in a failure mode engineers still talk about today, building a system so sophisticated that a tired human at 200 feet under combat stress cannot safely